Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and this little Scrawlrbox has been sitting on the shelf staring at me forlornly, upset that it's not fulfilled its life's ambition. So I've kind of pulled myself together a little bit, and today we are going to take a look through the supplies, but we're also going to tackle the Scroller Challenge, which is the art prompt that comes in the box. So this is the monthly art subscription box from here in the UK. If you are new to the channel, the first time seeing one of these unboxings, Scrawlrbox usually curate a nice set of supplies with a surface to work on, as well as provide information via a featured artist, a little Scroller Zine, which is just like the little magazine that comes. The Scroller Challenge prompt is meant to tie in with the supplies in the box and give us a bit of creative oomph to make something nice. So, ooh. Well, that's made me smile straight away because the first thing I see is Sea White of Brighton. Most of you know that I stock Sea White products in the Stash Shop, and if you want to check those out, you can go to the website, which is up here. I stock paintbrushes and their sketchbooks are very, very popular. You all seem to like that very much. So this is quite nice because I know that the Sea White stuff, it's the way I would describe Sea White supplies is they're good value for money. They are not top end, like top notch premium supplies. They are good quality supplies at a very reasonable price. That's the way I would describe them. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a wee second. Let's have a wee look at the featured artist here. This looks like pencil. It looks like graphite and coloured pencil. Zutong Wang is an illustrator based in China, and her work has received awards such as the Derwent Art Prize. Ooh, fancy pants. And she does have an Instagram handle here as well if you want to check out more of her work. This is obviously a plate of fish. It's the fish. So that's quite interesting. And here is our little scroller zine, and look at all this, look at all the pencil doodles. We'll have a look at this in a minute because we don't want to spoil the surprise. This is our surface, and it is a Sea White of Brighton concertina sketchbook. Each page has 2 by 140 GSM sheets joined for stability. So 38 possible working surfaces. Hand carry case. Fantastic for display. Yeah, I've never really we've had like zigzag sketchbooks before. I'm not really that. What's that little ball? Super cute. Oh, this reminds me of the okay, I quite like that. Oh, this is, oh my goodness, it's huge. I had a bit of a notion to do like a comic strip or like a story in one of these before. I think that would be really cool, but one this size, that would take a lot of planning. I would just want to point out what they've mentioned about the paper, so you can actually see if you look really closely. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Oh, let's try that. Autofocus, yes. So that's, you can see the two sheets stuck together there. They're not actually like stuck together. Like I can get my finger in there. But it's just for the concertina part of it, it's to make it nice and sturdy. It feels like card because of this doubled upness, and I'm not complaining, that actually feels really nice. I think what I would like to do is if we are going to actually work in this, actually make it the start of something, and maybe have this as a series and actually make it into like not a comic strip, but you know what I mean, like an illustrated story, because you all know I quite like making up stories, and you all seem to quite enjoy my stories as well. So we might actually have that as a bigger project than just a scroller challenge. Okay. Oh, I love this. See, when you get these little Derwent boxes, this makes me so happy. Please don't be pastel pencils. It's the only thing of Derwent I don't like is their pastel pencils. Go on, give me light fast. No. Artist pencils, okay. The Derwent artist pencils, I really like these. They are a very hard pencil compared to some of the other Derwent ranges. They're great for detail because they hold a point really, really well. So we've got quite an interesting set of colours here. Let's see, we've got gunmetal and silver grey. So we've got two different varieties of grey. And then we've got oriental blue, madder carmine, pale peach and light violet. I don't know. I've only got the 72 set of these, so I may or may not have these colours. But if I do, I'll switch them out as usual, and I can put the other ones into the Stash Shop for anyone that's interested. These are, I feel like these are lesser known and a slightly less popular of the Derwent pencils, but I really, really like them, and I use them in conjunction with my Polychromos all the time. So yeah, I'm quite pleased that we've got that. We'll swatch those out in a wee minute. We've got a Derwent blender pen as well. I'm not really that fussed on these. This is basically like has some sort of solvent in it that breaks down the pigment in the pencils and lets you smoosh it about. It's no different to a blender pencil. It's just in pen form. I wonder if this one's whiffy though. Yeah, that stinks. Oh. Here. Yeah, right, okay, don't do that. It doesn't split in, you know, the smell doesn't hit you in the face when you take the cap off, but if you actually sniff it, which don't do that, guys, yeah, it's quite strong. I don't know about everyone else, but here in the UK we have a blending solution called Zest It, and it smells of oranges. It's slightly more bearable. I will demonstrate this as well, but yeah, okay. Here's our Scrawlrbox sticker. Oh look, it's so cute because it's the doodle off the front of the Scroller Zine. Oh, that's amazing. So much. We've got a Vimto chew bar as well. This is vegan. These are really nice. They're not nice for your teeth, but they are nice. I am a huge fan of Vimto in its proper form, in its drinking form, not the fizzy one though, the flat one, the original and best. I will be, for once I'm actually going to keep that sweet for myself. Mr. Jem's not getting that one. Okay, what have we got here? A Pilot B2P Eco Ball. So this is made out of plastic bottles then, is it? Oh, this is such a cool pen. I actually really like the design of it. Okay, let's see what it says here. Pilot is committed to limit its environmental impact while improving manufacturing quality and innovation. Okay, so recycle, reduce, refill and reclaim. Oh, that's so cool. Pilot is adding reclaimed ocean plastic to the recycled PET material used in the manufacture of these pens, basically. That's so cool. So B2P is bottle to pen. Love it, absolutely love it. So this is just a biro, and it's black. You get them in 4 different colours. I wonder if everyone gets the same colour. I really like this though. I would assume that this is recycled cardboard as well, because if it's not, that would be quite ironic, wouldn't it? But at least you can recycle it. Yeah, right, okay, so a little bit of an environmental message in there. I am here for it. And I actually really like this because it kind of looks like a bottle, like a water bottle. Yeah, this might be my new favourite pen if it writes well. 86% recycled plastic, mainly from bottles. And it says excluding replaceable parts, obviously. Right, let's see what it says about the supply, see if we can learn anything else. Coloured pencils. These pencils have a broad round barrel, traditional core. As the lead is nice and thick, it makes them great for broader strokes. Add lashings of colour for creating expressive drawings. They have hard break resistant cores, yes. And a waxy texture, which makes them ideal for layering and shading. This also allows for easy blending, so you can create a vast range of different tints and new colours with ease. The blending pen, your new blending best buddy. The Derwent blending pen is a professional quality alcohol-based blender pen, ideal for use with both colouring and graphite pencils. Used with a light hand for best results. It will become your go-to for smoothing out pencil lines, creating transitions between colours and ensuring an even colour application. I think the blending situation with pencils, I think something you're either into or you're not. I rarely use blenders. There may be some types of paper that would make me use them, but generally it's not something that I'm into, but I have tried them quite a lot, so I'll be interested to use this Derwent one and see how it goes. The Sea White of Brighton Concertina Sketchbook. This is ideal for sketching on the go. Acid-free white cartridge paper with minimal texture. Excellent for use with pencils, pens, most alcohol-based mediums. I have to say the Sea White cartridge paper is actually quite textured, like compared to other cartridge papers, and I quite like it for that reason. Each page is 2 sheets joined together. Sketchbook has also a unique layout. It folds all the way out. Used page by page or as one long canvas. Oh, that would be fun as well, wouldn't it? The ballpoint pen. Oh, this says blue. It says blue, people. It better not be blue. I don't want a blue one. I want a black one because it says black on it. It's like, that's black. That's not blue. Oh. Right, we'll have to wait and see what that's all about. An innovation in reducing their carbon footprint. The B2P. That's fun to say. The B2P ballpoint pen from Pilot is made with 94 recycled plastic components. Oil-based quick-drying blue ink. It writes and draws smoothly for a comfortable drawing experience. The 1mm nib gives a 0.32mm medium line. That's very specific, wasn't it? It's also worth noting that this pen can be refilled 3 times, another nod towards reducing their environmental impact. Recommended retail price of £1.35. I'd pay £1.35 for one of those. Happily. Okay, right, that's lovely. Let's jump to the Scroller Zine. Oh no. Something just fell down. So here's the little overview page, which I always think is really cute. And here is the sit down with the January featured artist. So shows some of her artwork here. Again, lots of use of pencil, and I really like this because she uses texture to depict, and like for contrast, does that make sense? See if I zoom in, like the curly dog hair here, she has made curly, and then she's used straight lines for the other dog because it's got a smoother coat. Like that's what pencil is all about, and it's one of the things I love about pencil. So that might be quite interesting for me, especially to sit there and read, just because I'm a pencil monster. So here's the tips page, so things to try. Mark making, specifically scumbling, which is exactly what I was just talking about with the dog coat. That's what scumbling is, except it's much tighter and smaller circular movements. That is the scumbling technique. There is a name for it. Scumbling is when you apply marks to the page in small scribbles, gradually building to cover all of the paper, these little marks. Create texture. Okay, we just talked about that too. And blending. So we've got the blender, but you can also do it by layering the pencils. I'll talk a bit more about that when we get down to it. Talking about using a craft knife to create lines in the actual wax of the pencil once it's down in the paper. Behind the artwork, this piece is from one of my daily drawing projects. I drew all different kinds of food every day using coloured pencils. Yeah, that's my kind of art project. Okay, here's an interesting point. Coloured pencils can be both light and heavy. I love bright and thick colours, so I always draw heavy. I don't fix any lines because sometimes the mistake can add real charm, and don't try to make those lines as straight and perfect as possible. That's what machines do. We are humans and we make cute, curly and wavering lines. Draw like a child and don't think about any techniques. Oh, here's the November box. Busy chat. Oh, that's very cute. Very, very cute indeed. Yeah, some of these are lovely. Really like it. Again, kind of questionable about how some of them follow the prompt, but that's not for me to interpret. But I love this. This is really nice. Feed your imagination. Okay, they're talking about food here and artists and food. Obviously that follows on with the artist's featured artwork as well, so maybe it's going to be a foodie prompt. Oh, we've got another scrawler star as well. I actually thought they'd done away with this. They did one of these ages ago, and basically they find someone in the art community that they think deserves recognition, and they give them a life supply of free scrawler boxes. So they've got someone here who they've selected. Our artwork is absolutely fantastic. It really, really is. Like this one of Benedict Cumberbatch down the bottom. Yeah, it's nice to see that they've done this again, because I didn't think I thought it was going to be like a fairly frequent thing, and it hasn't been at all. So it's nice to see that too. That's cool. Okay, yeah, we had this discussion under the comments of the last ScrollerBox unboxing. And we were talking about this magazine and feeling like it's lacking something. I really do feel it's kind of sparse. And I couldn't really put my finger on why I felt that way. But I think just the fact that in terms of actually working with the medium is literally like this couple of paragraphs here and then one tiny little paragraph down there. I think they could do more, or even show more examples of, you know, coloured pencil work. That, you know, something like that would be great. And they just don't seem to do it. Interesting. So let's see what the Scroller Challenge is. 1, 2, 3. Dish of the day. Okay, right, so it's a foodie one. It's time to plate up. On the menu for this month are some ingredients you can use to whip up some culinary delights, inspired by the whimsical illustration style of our featured artist, with a dash of pen here and a blend of pencil there. Lay it up and scroll away to see what you can serve up with your creativity. I like that. I'm always up for food. It's something I never draw, actually. That's a really good point. I never draw food. So I'm going to have to decide on an area to test this out. Thing is, if I swatch these out sensibly, then I should be able to make it into something. I'm just going to pick a middle page. Oh, that's daring, isn't it? Because I've always got the other side as well. That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's my logic. So I'm just going to go bang in the middle here. Okay, first of all, this pen, this better be black. So let me just... It is. It's not blue at all. So I'm just going to put some lines down. It does feel quite chunky, but it's there's a reason that feels chunky to me. I am a huge fan, when it comes to ballpoint pens, I am a huge fan of the Bic Crystal Fine. The fine ones are the ones with the orange barrel. They do a medium one, which is like a see-through barrel. These are the ones that I use. So just to show you the difference, if I do another set of lines side by side, can you see how delicate that is? That's the ballpoint pen that I'm used to, and I use these for everything. I do not use any other ballpoint pen. I've got a bit of a fixation on it. So this pilot number here feels quite chunky to me, but that is a really thick, rich line, and I like it a lot. That's going to be really helpful even for lining things. Like, I am feeling that. So it feels nice and smooth as well. It feels quite soft to use. So as far as recycled plastic bottle pens go, this gets a thumbs up from Jem. Definitely. Okay, let's take a look at some of these colours. Not exactly the best selection of colours off the bat for foodie things. Not very many violet foods on the go, but we'll make something cool out of it because that's what we do. So let's just swatch these colours out. So I'm going to start with the greys. These are hard pencils, and you can see just by doing that, you can see every little line. So if I had to do a more traditional swatch, these aren't pencils that you want to be pressing down hard with, but you can get some really fine lines with this. And that's why I love these pencils. And one thing that recently that I drew, and I used these specifically for, and weirdly it was a grey colour, it wasn't gunmetal, was a cobbled path going up to a bridge. And see, to actually put the cobbles in, to outline them, that's what I used, was one of these Derwent pencils. They're really good for that, just because, say, they hold a point really well. Here is the lighter grey. Bit of a warmer grey as well, this one. I quite like this one. And then we've got pale peach. This is very pale, this pale peach. You see, I'm obviously familiar with a lot of these pencils. Oh no. Oh dear. We have a breakage. That highly unusual for these pencils. Oh, there. Yes, it's quite a pale peachy colour, and it's got quite a yellowish undertone to it. So this is the Madder Carmine, and this, okay, to get these out of the way. This is a lovely colour. I like this colour a lot. It's depending on how you use it and mix it, it can look very red, but it can also look very pink, and it can also be used in more like a brownish situation as well. It's really, really versatile, this colour. I like it a lot. And we've got this blue as well. This is a really vibrant blue as well. This is a nice look. But you see what I'm saying there? Look at the expressive marks you can make with that, because it is a much harder pencil. Really great for showing texture, depicting texture. Again, especially for things like architecture, like buildings and, brickwork in buildings, things like that. Really good for that. Also, these pencils are really good for putting in fine details on fine animal fur, which is what I use them for. Whiskers or short-haired. It's usually cats, actually. It's not dogs, it's usually cats. These pencils are fabulous for that. The colour palette also lends itself a bit more to realistic colours rather than vibrant colours. Right, okay, so here is the light violet, and that's a lot greyer than I remember. I remember this being more violety. Look, again, not a colour I would use very often though, to be fair, in this range of pencils, so that's quite muted. Yeah, if you press a bit harder, you are getting more violet. That's kind of like what I remembered. I was misremembering this pencil. Okay, yeah, so let's have a little look at this blender pen then, just to see what it does. I'm going to use it on this really textured mark making that I've done here. And we should be able just to go to town. And if we use a circular motion, you can see that it's smoothing out those lines. And if I just keep going here, obviously the more pigments that is on the paper, the more vibrant the colour is going to be. You're just going to smoosh it about more. So that's perfectly demonstrated. Those are much, much harder lines there, so there's more pigment on the paper. So you can see that even though the alcohol has broken down and spread out the pigment, it's still much richer there than it is at the top, because there's less pigment actually on the paper, like there's less for it to work with. Now this is going to happen as well. You're going to end up with a blue tip. That is absolutely fine. Don't panic. You can just clean it off on a scrap of paper, literally just, you can see there that there's no blue there, so that's it. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so quite an interesting set of supplies. I'm going to go and grab a cup of tea and have a little think about the prompt, and then we're going to draw some food. Okay, so I've sorted myself out a wee bit, and I've had a little think about this prompt here, dish of the day. I'm not just thinking about this prompt though, I'm thinking about this box in its entirety, because we've got this lovely, if not slightly quirky, concertina sketchbook. For foodie things, it's quite an interesting set of colours. Now, it's not to say they can't make it work. Just as an aside, I did check through my Derwent Artist pencils, and I do have all of these colours. The pale peach isn't called pale peach, that's how old my set is. It's light flesh or something, but it's the same colour code, and my pencil is significantly shorter than this one, so I'm not going to switch them out. If mine was longer, I was going to switch it out with this one. To put these in the stash shop. So this pencil is going to stay with this set, but I am going to leave these as is, and you can see that peach colour is considerably shorter because we had a wee bit of breakage problems there. These items are going to go into the stash shop. There's a few other bits and bobs in there today as well. If you want to head over to the website, you can check those out. I put things on, especially used art supplies, for much cheapness, so you can try good quality art supplies, but you don't have to break the bank. I have had an idea. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this. We have this book. I think what I would like to do is I would like to make this into a series of shorts. I have said that I would do more shorts on the channel this year. I'm going to make this a book of pasta. I've done some doodling in my sketchbook of some of the different pasta shapes, and I've just tried out the pencils there because it's quite an odd colour selection we've got, which doesn't necessarily lend itself to pasta. But I thought that would be really nice to have one type of pasta on each page, because there are bajillions of different types. In my house, I have a gigantic drawer in my kitchen. I have big drawers in my kitchen, and I have a pasta drawer. And when people come over and they discover it, they just think it's the best thing ever. It's really normal to me. I come from an Italian family. We always have like a pasta cupboard or something like that. It just happens to be a drawer. So I think it's fairly fitting that for the dish of the day in our house is always pasta, because there's always pasta in the fridge. So I think I would like to use this for this, and it means we can have this as a bit of an ongoing project. If there is a particular type of pasta you would like to see in the book of pasta, get down into the comments and let me know. It's such a random thing to say. So to start things off nice and easy, I'm going to have a title page. Obviously this is going to open this way rather than this way. Most pasta shapes will lend itself to being drawn in landscape format. So I don't really want to start the pasta on the first page either, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to use the ballpoint pen out of the box and write the title. And I'm going to put it in here in Italian just because why not? I'm going to have to space that out differently because it's more words. Well, it's not more words, but it'll look different. And maybe I'll add a little Italian flag and then maybe a little Scottish flag there or something. That could be quite cute. I'll do that at a later stage. Our first pasta is going to be on this page. So I thought we'd start with a rigatoni. And I really like this pasta shape because, if I just zoom in, although it is a pasta tube, it's a small pasta tube, this puffs up quite considerably. These get quite fat and quite big, but there's a slight twist in it, and you can only see it when you look at the texture of it. You can see that the lines actually twist round, so it's as if someone's gone like that with it, which is how they make it. I just thought that would be quite interesting from the point of view of getting some texture and things in as well. So this is my reference. The challenge here is not going to be in the drawing of the pasta, it's how we're going to manipulate these pencils to give a... Obviously we're not going to get a true pasta colour. Almost got primary colours there. I don't think that's really going to be a thing for us. But let's see what we can do anyway. This will be a fun experiment, I'm sure, she says. Okay, I think to get these pencils to do what I want them to do, we're going to have to be very patient, and we're going to have to use lots and lots of layers. The gut instinct with this type of pencil is to press down really hard because the pigment payoff is small. You know, it's not really rich pigmented laydown. It's not really meant for, you know, like huge areas like this. But the inclination there, the sort of instinct is to start pressing down really hard. And that is the exact opposite of what you need in your life. You do not want that happening. So basically I'm just going to build up some layers here until I can see this colour quite clearly on the paper, and I'm going to try and keep a light hand. And again, you can see I'm holding like the pencil really, really far back, and that's to force myself to not press down, because the closer you are to the tip, the easier it is for you to actually put pressure on. Whereas if you're way back here, you're like, whoa, it really helps. If you're new to coloured pencil, pressure control is one of your main tools when you're using pencil. So I strongly suggest that you practice this if you're kind of new to this thing. Okay, yeah, you can just see that. I can see it a lot better. There is pencil there. The reason that we need a lot of layers is if this blender pen is going to be any use to us, there has to be pigment on the paper. And because this isn't a generous pencil to lay down, then we have to do a lot of work with it. Otherwise, the blender is going to leave us with really patchy areas, which we also don't want as well. I'm going to stop at the edge of the pasta. So where this, where I can see this circular end, like I'm going to ignore the end elevation for now, if you like, and I'm just going to work on the actual body. And you can see here the colour's starting to build up. The paper in this sketchbook is really good for this because it's got a bit of texture, so it's gripping the pencil and forcing the pencil to let go of the pigment. My lighting situation's quite odd here because I've got natural light, I've got studio lights, and I've got the other light. So it's casting some weird shadows, so I'm going to kind of make the shadows up, but don't worry about it, everything will be fine. I am going to favour the madder, because I was going to have to go in one of two directions here. I was going to have to go down the bluey purpley route, or I was going to have to go down the reddish pinkish route. And I think, you know, this is quite a warm colour generally, so I think that the madder's a better idea. So what I want to start doing now is to put in the contours of this pasta. And again, I'm just focusing on the length here, I'm not focusing on this end. And I want to just do this very, very lightly to begin with. I just want to get those lines in there. And the further down that we get the pasta, the more pronounced the curve is because of the way it's sitting on the desk. So I need to make sure that I'm getting that in as well. And then I'm just going to start working away on the details. So there's actually a line here where I can see the light coming through. Whoa, my hand away there. So the really nice thing about this is we've got these lines separating out the actual sections of the pasta. So we can literally just work on one tiny section at a time, which is what I'm living for right now. Okay, now I want to see what this blender pen is going to do, if anything. It's not really... I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. It's just left like a pink mess. Right, I'm going to let that dry off and just see what it wants to do. Okay, the using the blender pencil has severely impacted the paper there, weirdly, which I wasn't expecting at all. I find that really strange. So I'm going back in now with this flesh colour. This is okay. So here's the difference. This is really pale. This is really difficult to see here. This is what I was expecting the blender to do. See this red going into this flesh colour? It's giving me like an almost like orangey tint. That's what I was expecting the blender to do, not this. I am going to stop using the blender. I don't think this is going to look... These pencils are driving me crazy. I don't think this is going to look much like a bit of pasta by the time I'm finished with it, honestly. But that's okay. We're here to try these pencils, and they're not doing anything for me right now, guys. Anyway, my bit of pasta is starting to take shape, which is nice. This is quite a vibrant colour as well, so we're having to be like super careful. Yeah, this is much more like it. Much more like it. I don't know. I'm going to kind of try and make that into a shadow area. I'm going to try and rescue that. My bit of pasta's away. My perspective's gone. That's okay though. We've got the basic shape down. That was all we really needed it for. We can make it up as we go along from here and it'll be fine. Yeah. So now that we've established, if I zoom out a little bit, you can see that looks a little bit more like a bit of pasta. Not much, but it does. It does look a little bit more like a bit of pasta. So the next step then is to think about this end. Now when I'm going to try and put this back where it was, sort of. There was this light edge. So again, I'm going to try and keep that there. And again, I want to fill this entire area in here, because this is quite thick here. And I also want to highlight the little bumps that are around the outside here, which are the actual indents for the, you know, of the pasta. So yeah, if we can just mark them out a little bit, that would be fun too. So yeah, the basic shape is there now. And I'm going to use the purple pencil here to start adding in some depth down the bottom here. And I can maybe start defining these lines a little bit more. And I can use the, oh no, the light grey is not really doing anything, but the gunmetal, I'm going to kind of use as to bring in some shadow here. And that's going to help me tie in this disaster at the bottom here. Okay, so now the trick for me is, how do we make this stand out? Because it does look really washed out, and the lilac is too light to give us contrast without things getting a bit muddy, which is kind of what's happening here. The paper's not really very happy taking any more layers either, so we're very limited there. I'm really reluctant to use the blender pencil on this, like super reluctant, just because, well, we all know how that goes. So I'm pressing much harder now. I need to get a little bit of something going on this bottom edge. Now, what I am thinking is that if we can, if it's possible, we can use this lilac here, contrast along this top edge. So that's working a little bit. It's not great, but it's all we need without actually giving it an outline, so to speak. Now, I did outline slightly with the lighter grey there with limited success. And there we go. So that's helped define the top edge a little bit. And we can go in here again with this. I might just continue this on down the side here. Okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere now very slowly. So I'm going to use this grey colour again to, like, I feel, whoa, that went horribly wrong. I feel like we're really lacking the contrast here. That, however, is starting to look a bit better now. I'm a bit happier with that. We could obviously take the option here of outlining with the ballpoint pen. I don't think that's the kind of aesthetic I was hoping for with this book in general. This looks way weirder on camera than it does. It does look like a bit of pasta. Like, I promise it does. It does really. But now what I want to do is, I was going to try and use this blue. So if I put a line of this here, because I can make that quite distinct, and we can make this into like a slight cast shadow. It is very bright, I know that, but I'm going to mix it with the grey. Hopefully, she says hopefully, my God. Just to try and give us a bit of an edge there. Let's see what we can do. And I am going to use the darker grey because that sticks out like a sore thing. I don't even know if I want to try and blend this, to be honest. Like, I'm really not, like, blender, no. Like, what would we want to do that for? I don't think the blender pencil with this paper and these particular pencils was a particularly good idea. I think it was a pants idea, but always persevere. Perseverance is what we've got to do sometimes. Okay, so with cast shadows as well, they are always darker and more concentrated in at the object, and the further away from the object the shadow goes, the paler it gets. Really easy to try with the light on your phone or a torch in any object and observe the shadow. Fairly straightforward. Okay, see, now we've got contrast. Contrast is what we need here. I think this looks more like some sort of confectionery item than a bit of pasta at this juncture. A rigatoni. And yes, okay. I think I'm going to call it a do there. It's that I have to say that was quite challenging. Not only with the colour selection. I really don't think this I'm just going to try something. See, for the sake of this box, right, let's get the pasta out of the way. Let's just really quick, I know this video is going to be quite long, but bear with me. These were the pencils with the blender in my sketchbook, and you can see that it's just left really sort of mucky marks. It's almost green, but it's not dissolved. it's not dissolved the pencil properly. Now, I don't think this is anything to do with the blender. I think it's the pencils. I'm going to try this blender pen with a softer pencil, so if you just give me one moment. Okay, so I've just brought out 2 extra pencils. See, this is really just for your benefit. I've gone to the opposite end of the scale. I've stuck with the Derwent brand here, and I have got 2 of the Derwent Colour Soft pencils. You can tell I use this peach colour quite a lot, can't you? So I've picked out peach and blue, so I've tried to get similar colours to these 2 pencils, just to see if it makes a difference. So I'm going to pop this down. Obviously they're not the same colour, but the point I'm trying to get to is that blenders work on the basis that they have a lot of pigment to squish about on the paper, because it breaks down that pigment so that it can move it about. And with these pencils, these are really stingy on pigment, so I just didn't think it would be a particularly good combination. These are very specific, these pencils. Right, okay, let's try anyway. So that's hardly any pressure at all. It's like, wow. But you can understand why I use the artist pencils for details, for whiskers and fur and things. Like, they have their place for that. So I'm just going to do a little bit of that, of layering up here, just so that we can see what happens with the... I mean, that's trying to blend itself. I could actually blend that out, you know, without a blender pencil, look. Yeah, that's hilarious. Right, anyway, come on, Jim, keep to the task at hand. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, look at that. And I'm effectively getting rid of my my strokes, look. I can blend that out to a point where those pencil lines disappear and I just have a block of colour. You're always going to get a certain type of texture, and it's just, it's usually the texture of your paper. You're not going to get a completely flat, even surface, but look how well that's blended out. So this pen actually works really well. I'll just show you on the peachy colour as well. Yeah, look, and you can push the colour out a little bit and fade it out if that's what you want to do as well. So that, you know, this is effective. There's nothing wrong with this blender pen. Now that's not fair because I blended that myself. Let's try it over here. Okay, so that's 2 light layers of pencil. Now, if I go in here with this blender, is it going to be... Yes, look. It's blended out my pencil lines. The pencil lines don't exist. And it's given me a proper colour, which didn't happen down here, and it's because there's not enough pigment. So I would say the Derwent blender pen works. I just don't think it's suitable for using with the artist grade pencils. Anyway, that aside, I just wanted to show you that, to see where we were going. This is the chaos that's my sketchbook. By the way, my sketchbook is never pretty. Pasta. Yeah, okay. So dish of the day, Scrawler challenge done. Do I like the pencils? Pasta. Do I like the pencils? Yes, but they have a very specific purpose, and this is not it as far as I'm concerned. There will be people that do enjoy using a much harder pencil. I am not one of them. It's very hard on my hand as well. So for the purposes of the Scrawler challenge, we have succeeded. I'm not convinced that my rigatoni really looks much like a bit of rigatoni, but under the circumstances, I am perfectly satisfied with that. I am really happy with this Pilot pen. Like, that's ridiculous how happy I am with it. And I'm happy that I've got a little, now an ongoing project. Alright guys, that is it for today. I would love to hear your thoughts on this box. I am loving to hear your thoughts on this box. Definitely a middling box for me. All comments are welcome underneath. I love to hear your opinions, because that's what this is all about, a bit of healthy debate. And yeah, so thanks very much for coming and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. As I posted on the community page, I will be doing 1 video a week just now for the foreseeable future. So I may stick some shorts and things in between, but expect a video next Sunday, and I will see you then. Bye for now, everyone.